drama. We all love it when we watch the soap operas, but we don't want it in our real lives, right? Our next guest is going to share why we need to stop faking it till we make it and start owning it while we hone it. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned for this episode of Unleash Your Audacious Confidence. Welcome to Unleash Your Audacious Confidence on Win-Win Women TV. This show is all about sharing the tips, tools, and techniques that will allow you to step boldly in the direction of your dreams despite your feelings, fears, or past failures, to imagine what's possible for yourself and live the life you deserve. Well, hello, and welcome to this episode of Unleash Your Audacious Confidence here on Win-Win Women TV. I'm your host, Alicia Couri, and you're going to want to watch this show. You want to stick around for this one because it's all about ditching that drama. So before we get into all of that and my very special guest today, I just want to encourage you to go check out Win-Win Women TV. There's a lot of content there, show hosts, women who are doing amazing things and teaching you amazing things. So I would go check it out and, see what else there is out there on Win-Win Women TV just for you. And if you want to connect with me, go to alicia360.com. There you can send me a text, you can email me, you can WhatsApp me, carrier pigeon me. Everything is right there. You can connect with me on all social media platforms too. And you can send me a DM. So if you love the content, if you like what we're doing here and you want more, or there's a show idea that you have that you'd love for us to bring to you, make sure to connect with me, alicia360.com, and give me your ideas. All right. So this show on Win-Win Women TV, Unleash Your Audacious Confidence, is for driven women to stop living on that hamster wheel, to really step out with boldness and take charge of their destiny and live audaciously confident. So if that's you, then you're in the right place. And today we have a really amazing guest. And I'm so excited because she's going to share with us how to ditch the drama and stop faking it until you make it. Instead, you've got to hone it. You got to own it while you hone it. I got that right, I think. So Robyn is a former drama queen. Yes, she is. She's not only was she an actor in those beloved soaps, but she also wrote those juicy dramas that got us all so hooked. She's now an incredibly talented and successful corporate consultant working with leaders all over the globe to help them ditch the drama, create more presence for themselves, like create more leadership, magnetic leadership for themselves, and also to better communicate with themselves and better communicate with their teams. So Robyn is here today, and she is going to talk to us about her formula of owning it while we hone it. So Robyn, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Alicia. So happy to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
I know this has been a while coming because we were scheduled before. We had to reschedule. All kinds of stuff were going on, but I'm so happy to have you today.
Me too.
So you've taken a journey from soap drama queen to helping eliminate drama from corporations. Just briefly, really quickly, tell us what that arc of that journey was, since you are a storyteller.
Well, I never considered myself a drama queen, but but I was an actress. I did a lot of commercials. I did a lot of episodic TV and off Broadway. But writing for the soaps was so interesting. You know, I wrote for All My Children. I wrote for One Life to Live. And so I like to say, like, I was creating drama, and drama is really exciting, right? Drama is something that is entertaining, and it can be productive, and it can be profitable. But when you get too much drama in your life, that's
Not so
not so
much.
entertaining, and that's
Not
not
so much.
so profitable either. So yeah. So a while back, when I left acting and I left writing, I realized that there's a lot of drama in the workplace, and knowing how to put it together maybe I can help people take it apart as well.
Because you can identify, because have studied characters, because in order to be a really successful writer, you have to really understand the emotions and understand people really well to
Exactly.
write and be consistent with a character, because you can't have a character show up one way and then in another episode just doing something completely, it's like incongruent. So unless they've had a brain injury, right? Which happens a lot in soaps as
Or
well.
their evil twin
Oh,
shows
the
up.
evil twin shows up, right? so so you have to really study people and understand how people operate, and looking at drama in the workplace and helping leaders really unpack that. I think you come from a really unique perspective in doing that. So what is some of the, and we're going to get into your framework in a minute, but what are some of the things that you noticed when you first started working within corporate that your I guess your experience writing helped you
Yeah.
identify really quickly?
Yeah, well, it's so interesting because when you start writing for a soap opera or any show, actually, they give you something called a show Bible. And the show Bible has all of the information of the characters and who they were, who they married, where they went to school, like when they died last, so you get a show Bible, but when you go into your office in corporate, no one hands you a Bible, right? Nobody
Mm,
says like, this is what this leader is like, this is what she likes to have. And so what I learned from writing for the soaps and studying the soap Bible, the show Bible, is that everybody has such a particular style and a communication style. And so when you go into an office or you meet a group of people, you have to immediately be able to assess what their type and their style is so that you can then say, this is how they like to be communicated with. I mean, just like you were saying, it's like when I'm writing for Erica Kane, I can't make it sound like, she's this sweet sweetheart. I have to know her voice. I have to know where she's been. So if I walk into Erica Kane's office, that character has to know how to interact with Erica Kane. Just like when you walk into your boss's office, you need to know how to act with that boss depending on what their style, what their type is.
wow. I love it because I guess I was a writer. I studied script writing, so I understand what you're talking about. I love creating stories and all of that. So all this makes so much sense to me, how you can see it and dissect it really quickly. So the show is entitled today, Stop or Don't Fake It Till You Make It, because that's, everybody's like, yeah, you got to fake it till you make it, fake it till you make it. But so many people love this. I saw in some of the comments when we posted the show, to own it while you hone it. How did you come up with that? And then kind of share with us what that really means.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I got so tired. I don't know what happened. I was just sitting down listening to somebody say, fake it till you make it. It's like, wait, I study neuroscience a lot. I have my certified in neurolinguistic programming, and I know how much words have power. And I was just reading how much about words have power and the way the brain reacts to when they hear something. And so it's like if you're saying the word fake over and over again, your brain is saying, oh, wait a minute. So
That's
what
not
you're
real.
actually saying is, I'm not good enough. You're saying I'm not good enough, so I have to pretend to be a certain way. And then what I start thinking about, and we hear so much about imposter syndrome, then what happens? Your brain starts saying, oh, so that means what happens when they find out that I'm pretending and that I'm not good enough. So then that opens a door for mega imposter syndrome to stroll right in.
That's my
So
next thing I was going to ask you about, like
yeah,
how much is this impacting imposter syndrome when we
yeah.
have this idea of faking it till we make it?
Right.
So
Yeah.
good.
And I love own it while you hone it because we already have. I mean, I believe that we already are we're born to make a difference. We're born to fulfill our prophecy, our life, our goal, our purpose. And we have
Yeah.
it inside of us. All we have to do is sort of start uncovering it and standing in it while we continue to hone it. Just own it and then you continue to improve.
And that's why this show is called Unleash, because everything is inside of you already. And unleash that audacious confidence. It's all on the inside. I listen to a lot of different teachers on that mindset,
Mm.
and they all everything that I listen to is all about everything you have inside of you. You were created with everything that you need. Everything is already there. Um, God didn't create us as a deficient individual.
Mm-hmm.
We all have gifts, we all have unique talents and unique abilities, and it's just up to us to do the work. And that's, I think, unfortunately, a lot of people don't do the work. They
Yeah,
don't they
exactly.
don't study, they don't find out who they really are and what gifts they have inside of them.
And there are reasons for that. And what I'd like to say is because I call them brilliance blockers. I mean,
Mm.
sometimes we've got society, we've got our nature. We're born, like I was born incredibly shy. Shy was my literal nickname growing up. We have people then reinforcing that shyness. We have social and cultural norms that we're
Mhm.
taught, and then, so those are brilliance blockers. So they start building up. It's like we're born with all this stuff inside of us. And then, we get a lower brilliance blocker comes up. It's like, oh, wait, no, I'm sorry, you can't do that
Yeah,
because the nun said,
yeah.
or
We
the
don't do this
priest
in that.
said,
We don't
or
do
your
it that way in
mother
this
said. Yeah,
family. Yeah, we don't do
yeah.
it that way in this family. No, no,
Mm-hmm.
no, no, no. This is the way
Mm-hmm.
you're supposed to do it. No, 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 no.
Right,
Yep,
right.
yep, yep.
So
So
you
it's that
cover it up. You
programming.
cover it up. Mm-hmm.
Mhm. That programming. Oh, wow. I love that. Brilliance blockers. Because we are all born brilliant. We all have
Mm-hmm.
a brilliance that is unique to us, and not everyone has the same level, same wattage of brilliance,
That's
same
right.
type of brilliance. It's all different, but it's all brilliant. So tapping into imposter syndrome for a minute, if you can own it, how do you know what to own?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you know? You're saying own it.
Yeah.
Own what? What is the it?
That's such a great question. I don't know if anybody's ever actually asked it that way, but it's so true. It's like, and one of the things is like it causes ex it you need to excavate,
Mm,
because a lot of times what is we're supposed to be owning and what we have, we take for granted, and we push it aside because, oh, that anybody can do that. And it's
mhm.
not. That's usually the thing. As soon as you say, oh, that's probably what you need to start honing. What people are constantly saying to you or saying
That
about,
you're so good at. Yeah.
yeah, and they're not acknowledging you for, or it's like, or asking you questions about. And it's usually something that comes really simple, or something that happened. A question I love to ask people when they're trying to find out and excavate their gold or their brilliance is like, what were you like between the ages of 8 and 10? What did you want to be? What did you think about most often? What are some of the things that occur to you? Because between those ages, that's those ages where you really start to get your value system, like who it is that you are. And psychologists really back that up too. It's like, and when a lot of times people will go back, and I like ask people in a workshop or one-on-one, and they're like, they had this aha moment, this like
Yes.
V8 moment. It's like, oh yeah,
No,
I was
I
doing,
wanted to be this and this and this, and they
yeah,
told me I couldn't do that.
right,
So,
yeah. Either that, or they're saying I did this and now I'm doing something similar, or I still love something similar. And so either one of those things, there's usually a clue in
mm,
something around that age that either you were not doing or you love doing, and now you're still doing it in another degree, in another capacity, in another label, but that is your unique gold.
yeah. In my 7 secrets to audacious confidence, I have something called your tags, your
Mm,
talents, your assets, your gifts, and your skills that you need
mm-hmm.
to like really go into and catalog those things, because there are things in there that you take completely for granted of those unique and innate talents
Yeah,
of yours. You're not focusing on them correctly. So I love that. Yeah,
yeah,
let's mine some of that brilliance.
yeah.
I I remember when I was in my late 20s, early 30s, I was starting to think, what am I good at? Oh, I don't know. I had two
Right.
kids. I was home. I wasn't working. I wasn't doing it. I was like, what am I good at? And I remembered around that, I went back, I was praying about it, and God kind of showed me that when I was around that age, 10, 11, I loved hair and makeup and doing all that stuff, but I was always told, oh, that's stupid and that's
Mm.
frivolous and you shouldn't do that, and that's just like a hobby, and so I didn't realize I actually had like a natural gift for doing
Mm.
that stuff, for doing it, and that led me to becoming a makeup artist and
Wow.
doing makeup and hair for a very long time, until now I'm doing what I'm doing because
Right,
I'm all
right.
about personal development and building from the inside out. And so it was just a natural progression for me because I was always also wanting people to look and feel their best.
Yeah.
So it is a really crucial age. So I love that,
Hmm.
to go back to that time in your life. How much of the like the alter ego do you bring into this? Do you bring that into any of the work that you do at all?
The alter ego meaning,
Meaning
what?
helping people really, because like own it while you hone it.
Yeah.
So I have a technique, the alter ego technique,
Yeah.
where we help them really build out that
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
If they
Yeah.
were, you know, to
Yeah.
be the best version of them, what would that look like? And then step
Yes.
into that when needed. You don't have to be that all the time, but just step into it when you need to. And then, you can go back to being your mild-mannered self whenever
Yeah.
you want to. But
I
is
love
there
it.
anything like that that you kind of that's equivalent to what you do?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm laughing because I
You're
do
a
the exact
character
same thing.
builder.
Yeah, I do the thing. I call it, I definitely call it your avatar, your alter egos. I can really create it. I have had people like give it a name, and that's also an NLP, neuro-linguistic programming technique too. It's like, so what is the name? What color does that person wear? What does it look like when that person shows up? What do they sound like? And I love when people just completely create. And I have a story arc, just like as a writer, what you do for writing a story. Like once upon a time there was, and
Mm,
then you write out your entire script of this is where you were. There was a woman who lacked confidence, and then one day, and then one day. So you take your character on a hero's journey, and that's one of the things that I love to share and do that because it's so incredibly true. I had one-on-one coaching client who, her name was Christina, and so her alter ego was X Tina. So every time, and every time she would go into someplace, she would be X Tina, and X Tina wore purple, and so it's a whole different feeling of showing up. And the other thing
hmm
I do for people is it's vocal because I started out doing a lot of presentation skills and vocal skills, and it's all intrinsic. And so I give people, it's in my books, standing ovation presentations. I have these little tiny snippets from film or speeches, other people's words. And I have people read those out loud, like so that this script from Michael Douglas when he does Greed, it's like um, you say those words in that feeling and that strong emotion, and what literally happens is your brain starts to reprogram, and it
mm.
says, I can do this. I can be powerful and I'm still alive. No one's come down and like put me in detention or something like that. It's like that's what it's like. And that's how I went from shy to where I am now because, I went to an acting class.
I love it. I love it. I was listening to Bob Proctor the other day, and he said that improvisation, doing improv work is really powerful in helping you to really do what you're talking about, like
Yeah.
bringing out that person on the inside, because it is inside of you. And I think
Hmm.
that's what people aren't fully aware of. Like that bold, that audacious, that powerful person is on the inside of you.
Yeah.
You just have to give it permission to exist.
Yeah, totally. And you know that I tell this sometimes in my keynotes, you know the story of the Golden Buddha?
No.
It's so powerful. In 1957, Thailand, there was a monastery and they had this giant clay Buddha. And they'd had it for hundreds of years, but the monastery had to relocate. So they took the giant Buddha with them. But one of the monks looked in at the Buddha when that was moved and they saw a crack in it. And what he saw is he thought there was golden light emanating from that Buddha. So he took a hammer and chisel and started chiseling it away. And what he discovered was under all that clay was a solid gold Buddha, solid gold. So you
Wow.
can imagine how valuable that was. And what happened was, you
What
know,
happened was,
hundreds of years earlier, the previous monks were afraid that it was going to get stolen during an invasion. There was an invasion coming, so they covered it with clay. But apparently they didn't survive the invasion, so no one knew for all those years that there was gold underneath that clay. And I feel like that's where we are. You know, so many times we're afraid of exposing our gold and we cover it up, or other people start slapping clay on top of us, like we were talking that cultural stuff. They start slapping clay on top of us and cover us up. And what our evolution as human beings is to take that hammer and chisel and start chiseling
chiseling
away.
away and finding the
Yeah.
gold. I love that
Well, the goal.
story.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
pretty amazing and powerful. And we can do that. The other thing about it is like we do that for each other, and we should be able to do that for each other, especially women. And when you see a crack in someone's clay, it's like, oh, I see you in there, you know.
Yeah. You know, stained glass windows. I mean, there's so many analogies that are coming to my mind. I don't want to get sidetracked with all of that because I want to get to your formula, or you have a framework or a formula. I want to ask you about that, so that if someone, well, we have an audience today, and those of you who are watching this, if there's something that, you know, you feel like you want to be able to find that person on the inside, do you have some simple steps that people could kind of follow to start that process of cracking open that clay?
Yeah, my what I do is I call it my Super 8 formula. First, you investigate where the brilliance blockers are. So investigate. So are they cultural? Are you afraid of disappointing someone? Are you afraid of outshining someone? You know,
Mm.
that's a big one. Are you afraid of coming off as too braggy? You know, all of these, is it a racial thing? Is it a sexual orientation thing that is covering up all of those brilliance blockers? So look at those brilliance blockers and investigate it, because when you look at them, they're not as scary because they can then just say, look, I see you. And the other thing is, they're there for a reason. The way our brain is situated and the way our brain functions is its main purpose is to help us survive and to keep us alive. And so when it puts up a brilliance blocker, or when it starts throwing on that clay, it's really trying to help you survive. It's really trying to say, be careful, there's danger out there, I'm going to protect you. So one of the ways to look at it is like, okay, you just covered me with clay, but guess what? You know what? I don't need that right now. I'm fine. Thank you so much. You know, because you can't like ignore it. You know, it's like
Mhm.
you've had kids, you ignore a 2-year-old, what happens? They just scream louder. You know, and so that's what our brilliance blockers do. You start
And
ignoring
then
them.
they get quiet, and then you get worried because what
Yeah.
did they get into? Like they're entertaining themselves with some.
Exactly. And that's exactly what our brilliance blockers do. Okay, they're quiet now, but they're going to come out somewhere else. They're going to come out in a
Some
disease. They're going to
yeah,
come out as something else, you know? And
correct.
so you have to say, look, thank you so much for showing up, but I got this. So that's investigate. And then excavate. That's when you start asking yourself why. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why do I do it differently than other people? What did I want to be when I was 8 years old? And how is that showing up now? Or how can I have it show up now? So that's the excavation part. And then you could even like start writing. I give that exercise to a lot of my clients of doing a brand assessment. You just an audit. You ask 10 people, like, what are the first three things that you think about when you think about me? You can make it anonymous, you can make it, just have that out, and then look for all of your other proofs, any
Mhm.
assessment that you've taken. I know that you're big on assessments. Take an assessment. Look at any emails of praise that you've gotten, all the testimonials that you've gotten, and look for the common denominators. Like, what is it that people are
What are
saying
people
about me?
saying? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so you're excavating that. And then the next super eight is to communicate. How do you communicate what it is that you are? Like, how can you then own it so strongly that, yes, this is what I do and I'm not ashamed of it. And if it's that braggy thing, when people get afraid of bragging, it's like, no, it's not bragging, it's sharing. Because if people don't know what you do, there's no way that you can help them. They
Yes.
just don't know that you can help them. So it's sharing it so that you can help it. So and then you have to radiate. You have to like stand in your power and radiate that value, that brilliance, and shine. And there are other super eights too, it's like
Yeah.
celebrate yourself, appreciate yourself. Yeah. So it's a super eights.
Nice. Well, I love that, because we need we need all of this, right? We need to be able to investigate. Um, I always, I've always told my children to ask questions,
Mm,
really question, even question what you believe.
mm,
Like, why do you believe that? Why do you believe that about yourself? Because I'm not their only influence,
right.
right? They
Oh
went to
yeah.
school, they had teachers, they had classmates, they had people telling them things as well as they were growing up. It's like, why do you believe that about yourself?
Mm-hmm.
So always ask those questions. Why do I believe this?
Yeah.
Who told me this? And why
Mm-hmm.
do I believe it? Because the voices in your head, it's not always your own, and they're not always for your good. Right?
Right.
so
Yeah.
so
I love
who
that
told you that?
question.
Find out who told you that, and why is that voice in your head? So ask the
Mm-hmm.
questions. And then, as you're saying, excavate. Yes, I love assessments. I do. Um, but you don't just take the assessment. There's so many people that take the assessments and they say, oh, yeah, that's good. That's nice. And they don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to actually find the evidence, as you're saying, like
Mm-hmm.
connect the evidence and grow from that knowledge. So
Right.
working with someone like you, it's really helped them understand, not just take the assessment, but understand, what
Yeah.
does it mean? How does that apply to me? How can I
Mm-hmm.
use this in my life? How can I amplify this in my life and
Right. Right.
create more
Yeah.
of these things?
Exactly.
So
Totally.
so many people don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Communicate well. I mean, if you can't
Yeah.
communicate, so many people struggle with communication,
Yeah.
because communication isn't just talking.
Right.
Oh, I love to talk,
Right.
but communication isn't just communication is so much more.
Communication
And
is 360.
it is. And to what you were saying earlier about that age 10, 9, 8 to 10, um, I actually had to go back to age 3 to
Mm.
find the essence of who I was, to like ask people, because I was like a tornado and I
Mm.
had lost that. I had
Mm.
completely lost, like the clay was dumped so heavy on me. After that age, I was really like a force of nature, and I had to go back to find that girl. So
Mm.
sometimes if you're feeling stuck, ask your parents if they're still around, ask siblings, older siblings if you have any, or ask aunts and uncles or just people who were in your space around that time. What was I like as a kid? You know,
Mm.
because sometimes that clay starts real early.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, very interesting. It starts early, and then who you're meant to be is so covered up that you're not in touch with it anymore.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Exactly. Anyway, we've run out of time. I don't know how that happened. You know, time just doesn't stand still. I don't know why.
I know. You're having fun.
But
You should get extra time.
yeah, I know. You should get extra. I love that. So, those of you in our live audience, stick around, but we have to leave you now. Robyn, can you tell people how to get in touch with you if anyone wants to find out more about your formula?
Yeah, please reach out to me via LinkedIn as my favorite platform, Robyn Hatcher, Robyn Hatcher and my website is robynhatcher.com. You can get in touch with me for keynote speaking, consulting, coaching, whatever.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you, Robyn. And so I just want to encourage those of you today who've been here, who've been listening to us, that if anything resonated with you today, reach out. Like I said at the beginning, reach out, let me know what resonated, what you'd like to hear more about. Go to alicia360.com. And before I go, I just want to encourage you all to always to be bold, to be brave, and to every day do one thing to step out with audacious confidence. Take a little chip, like chip away a little bit of that clay to find your brilliance. So until next time, this is Alicia Couri saying goodbye for now on Unleash Your Audacious Confidence, and we'll see you next time. Mwah.